Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Star Glory, or welcome if this is your first visit. Thanks for stopping by. I think I said several videos ago that my goal was like 10 subscribers because I could talk to 10 people. I could handle that. But 203 as of today, or this morning. It bobs and weaves, but wow. Far more than I ever expected. I'm not trying to make a business out of this or anything. And I was thinking today, I'm questioning whether I'm actually a tarot tuber or not. I do talk about tarot, as it's a lot of my chit chat goes on around that and decks and this and that. But I also talk about perfumes. I talk about my life. I talk about not fun things occasionally and fun things occasionally. So, I'm not completely committed to full on tarot, but I think as a community, the tarot people are just the most wonderful people. They're just open minded and willing to voice their opinions, very respectfully in most cases, and I love that. So I like being a part of this. So new do, yay! Doesn't mean I'll be going without my headbands, but oh my god, I went through a period where I really just thought I'm just going to grow it again. But the truth is that once your hair starts to go gray, it just doesn't behave like it did your first 60 years or however long you're lucky enough to have just your regular young hair. Mine's been going gray for a long period of time. This little streak here developed kind of early on, probably in my late 40s, maybe early 50s. I was lucky. And I just prayed the whole time that it would come out like my parents' hair, which was this nice silver. And that's exactly what it's doing, and I couldn't be more thankful. And for somebody who's lived with fine, people who come in here say, you have plenty of hair. It's just so fine, super fine, and unruly. You'd think fine hair would be subject to easy. What's the word I'm looking for? Easy styling, but no, fine hair is. Back when I was a youngster and I wanted curly hair and perms were all the rage, I actually got a perm, and the woman who did it for me was a friend of mine. She did this. She was a professional, but I also knew her. And she said, I'm going to be really straight with you, Nancy. Your kind of hair is the hardest for us to mess with because it just has and you'd think just the opposite. The fine hair would be manageable, that it would, you'd be able to do a lot with it. No, it is the most unruly of the hairs out there. I think it just refuses to hold a curl, refuses to everything. You want this? No. So the only time I ever really it worked for me was when it was super short, but I'm over that stage. So anyways, but the last time I went to get a haircut, I thought, I get grown out a little bit. And so I did it, and I got home, and it was like I regretted that decision, like, from the moment I left the hair salon. I loved it. Of course, you never could, at least I can't, you never quite repeat what the woman who did my hair did, basically because I don't have arms coming out of the ceiling. I figured if everybody had arms coming out of the ceiling, we could all do that, but we don't. So, anyway, so I finally was like, and here's the other thing. I've been going to Portland to get my hair cut. I fell in love with a woman there who's been cutting my hair for years, and she's kind of young, hip, but she knows how to do my hair. And I remember the first time I went there, it was like night and day from any place I'd ever been, and I love. How you get your hair cut and then you like it after about 2 weeks. No, I liked it the moment I walked out the door, and I continued to like it because it just grew up properly. It didn't. I didn't hate it 2 weeks down the road because it was longer than I wanted to do. So I just loved her, and so after I moved here, I kept going there because why not? You find somebody you trust who's cutting your hair, and plus we always have such a good chat. And I was like, yeah. But then you start adding in the trip over, the hotels. You can't go in the winter because of the passes. I mean, it was just kind of a nightmare all the way around. All the and it turns out that my expensive haircut was like 5 times that because I had to spend the night there. So, and then of course COVID hit, and I couldn't. Nobody was taking new clients here in where I live, they were sticking with their regular clients, if that. A lot of them shut down, and so I kind of, what do you do? So anyways, I finally decided, okay, it's time. You've been here 5 years, almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years this fall. It's time to find somebody to cut your hair here. So I asked my neighbor, and who I love dearly, and she said, go here, go to this place. And so I called them, and she recommended a woman there who didn't have an availability until like after June. And I was like, I can't wait that long. It's time to go. So they did have openings. They just said any stylist. I said, fine. I'm new. I don't care. So I ended up getting a stylist who we just bonded immediately. She's sweet, young. She just moved here as well. Well, so she's been here since October, but still new to the area, and just kind of learning the ropes. Anyway, she cut it, and now she used a curling iron, and it was funny because I said, don't use any product, or I don't do any of that, so just don't. And she goes, oh, let me have some fun, and I'm like, okay. And so she gets out the curling iron, which I swear to God, this hair hasn't seen a curling iron. I couldn't even say how many years. I just don't use hair tools. I don't know how to use hair tools. I barely know how to use a brush and a hairdryer. I usually just come out of the shower, comb, fluff, done. So and it was the cutest it's ever been in forever. So I was like, okay. So I went to Target yesterday and bought a curling iron. So I'm going to try to learn how to actually do that. We'll see. We'll see how far I get, because I think there's a reason that I've gone this long without it, because I'm just not very good at it. But of course I've never worked hard at it either. So, learning new skills, they're hard. So, perfume of the day, I'm going to introduce you all to a company called Henry Rose, which Henry Rose, R-O, like the flower, Henry Rose. Here's the logo. It's kind of very simple. It's a company. I was influenced on, who knows what. It wasn't a blogger. It was just an article I was reading on Google. So Google's got me pegged. But the company is owned, or was started by Michelle Pfeiffer, who was just kind of. I'll just read this to you. It says equal parts intoxicating and non-toxic. Fragrance fully exposed. And I'd read about these, and I was really interested in them. But as anybody who does fragrances knows, that the notes, no matter what they list, will always not tell you exactly what's going on until you smell it. And I have a million bottles down in my garage, which are now vintage and probably worth a pretty penny if I decided to put them on eBay. But that I read the notes on, I said, ooh, that sounds just like me. And then I tried, and it's like, oh, that's not like me. And then age has a lot to do with it too. A lot of fragrances, I think I mentioned a long time ago, that like Coco Mademoiselle, Coco Noir, that whole line was just something I couldn't even deal with 20 years ago. And now I can't get enough of it. So I don't know if you're, and I don't know whether that means your nose gets better with age or worse with age, or whether you just start to learn to, I think I mentioned this before, learn to kind of understand the nuances. It's kind of like learning how to drink wine, really, where your first sip is like, okay, I'm glad you like. It's like, I mean, do you remember back to your first sip of coffee? It's like, how do people drink this in the morning? And now it's the best flavor, best smell in the morning, in my morning at least. So it's just, and I don't even want to say it's an acquired taste. It's just, I think you just learn to, well, maybe it is an acquired taste. I don't know. You just learn to kind of, suddenly you kind of, I think part of it is expectation. It's kind of like, have you ever picked up a soda can that's in a, what are they called, cozies? Where you don't know what the soda is, but you swear to God it was a 7-Up. That was your 7-Up. And you grab it and you take a sip of it and it tastes like gasoline. And then somebody looks at you and said, you're drinking my Diet Coke. And I'm like, oh, sorry. And you put it back together. Because your expectation is that it's going to be 7-Up. And it's not. And so your mouth and your mind is just totally confused. And it's like, oh, We do never want that again. I love Diet Coke. I just like it when it's what I expect in the glass. If I expect it to be 7-Up, I want it to be 7-Up, not Diet Coke, and it throws you off. And I think in a lot of ways, fragrances, wines, coffees, things like that, are things like that too. You just never tasted that before, and your body's like, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, bitter, ooh, and then you start to smell it in the morning, and you start associating mornings with it, and then your friends start drinking it. Then this is not how I graduated into coffee, but I mean, I was like hardcore coffee drinker from day one. But you might have a latte. You're like, okay, that's good, or a frappuccino, which is really just a coffee milkshake, in my opinion, along with all those calories. But you start to graduate into it. Then you have your first cup of really good, robust coffee, and you're like, oh my God, why did this take me so long? And it's the same thing with fragrances. So that's my about all that. To the point where I got a little parched. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer started this company. It says Michelle Pfeiffer, founder. You shouldn't have to sacrifice quality for safety. And and I've alluded to that in a couple of videos before about how the European Union, and I assume the U.S. is involved in this as well, has just been shutting off the use or not allowing certain natural botanicals to be used in what would be called used in retail operations. And that has really messed up the fragrance industry for quite some time, because they just didn't have the synthetics to replace things like oak moss, which is one I mentioned before, which is just one that's really, it's an unusual factor in many perfumes, and a lot of times you don't even know it's there, but it's there, and it makes a big difference. And if you don't have something to replace it with, something that's decent with longevity, then you're in trouble. And so they've really struggled to find the right ingredients and the right blends. It's kind of been a whole new world, which has been kind of fun to watch, actually, as someone who's been involved in fragrances for a while. But anyway, so what she writes is, we spent years uncovering a short list of safe, intoxicating scent notes. Then we created a collection of transformative fragrances using only those. The Environmental Working Group and the Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute have been at our side each step of the way, approving or eliminating every ingredient we've considered. Through years of questioning, testing, persistence, we designed a line of fine fragrances that meets the strictest standards of safety known today. I'm assuming that means that generally no allergens or skin sensitivities, things like that. We're proud to receive the distinction of EWG verified, don't know what that means, Cradle to Cradle, and Leaping Bunny certified, raising the bar across material health, material reutilization, and renewable energy and carbon management, water stewardship, social equality, and cruelty-free business practices. So, yay for them. They're out of Santa Monica, California. And they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they, on their card, they have 11 fragrances. I don't know if that's all of them. What I did was I was about to buy something. They, again, based on the notes, see, I have not learned any lessons at all in this 70-year journey I've had. I'm so willing to blind buy shit. But one thing that perfume companies, fragrance companies have gotten much better at is what they call discovery sets. So I kind of, before I hit the buy button, I went, I wonder if Henry Rose has a discovery set. And so I typed in Henry Rose discovery set. Boom. Right there. And what came was really cute. Came with this little box. Can I close this? I can show you how small it is. So it was really small, just this. And then it had 2 little packages in it along with this card. And a coupon for 20%, which I used just today. And then in each little packet is 1, 2, 3, is 5. I don't know if you can see that, 5 little bottles, and they're not just those little dipper bottles. They're little mini sprays. Does it say how much they are? 0.3. It doesn't. Yeah, oh, there it is. 0.05 fluid ounces, 1.5 milliliters. So very small, but I've been using one for like 3 days, and I still have about a third to a half of it left. So, and that's, on the arm and a couple on the décolletage. So, Whatever. It doesn't have incredible longevity. I'll give it that. Of course, I mean, I can still smell it's very light. But I would call it what I call skin. People have different, or maybe it's just me, but I think a skin scent is scents that you wear that are very close to the skin, basically, that you can smell, but not many around you can. Or somebody has to get in really close to smell it. I wouldn't call this is not that. But I would say the longevity is maybe 2 to 3 hours. And in a really good, back in the day, longevity was 9+ hours. And in a good, expensive fragrance from some of the bigger houses, you would expect 5 to 7, I would think, if not longer. So this is very light. I'm trying to, do they call them eau de parfum? No, they call them eau de parfum, so they're concentrated, but, so that, anyways. And so there's 2 of them, each with 5. One's missing because that's the one I've been using. So anyways, the one I love, the one I ended up loving, and is my fragrance of the day, is Henry Rose. It's called, and the name threw me off because I'm like, It's called Sheep's Clothing. So, I mean, when I see sheep, I think, ooh, I'm not sure bovine. I'm not sure I like the, woolly, funky. So I was a little bit worried about it. But it says, when I knew I would call it a floral woody, and the unexpected burst of pink peppercorn creates a perfect juxtaposition within the softness evoked for the Turkish rose absolute and the amber woods. And I will tell you, for me, it's the peppercorn that is the loudest in this, and it's the star of the show. I love it. I can honestly say I will wear a fair amount of rose fragrances if it's on the back end. I don't like it when it's the top note, or really, frankly, in the middle very hard. Unless it's done well, I think rose takes on a real kind of old-fashioned feel to it, or smell to it. Some people call it the old lady smell. Okay, granted, that. So, but that's not why I don't wear it. It's got very antiquated. Most roses have kind of that antiquated smell. I don't know what it is about that. The other one that's taking on that heaviness is tuberose to me. Now, I used to love tuberose, but it's starting to weigh on me. And I heard somebody refer to it as kind of the old-fashioned, fragrances, the strong showstoppers like tuberose rose, they come in and out of favor. And tuberose is right now out of favor. I think rose is kind of actually making a comeback, which I find really interesting. But I think they've learned how to work with it better, adding in a lot more citrus and, I don't know, I'm not perfume. I don't know what they're adding in there. But they're adding in something to make it more fresh. In other words, it's like when you're passing by a rose bush and you just get that whiff and it smells so good, and then you lean in to get a really close whiff and it's almost like too strong. Like jasmine has that same problem. Jasmine is beautiful and you're just floating in the air a little bit, but when you get up close and personal with a little bunch of it, it's like, woo, too much. So I think it's really, I think fragrances that treat either one of those scents delicately, gracefully, and really know that, in my opinion, neither one is meant to be the showstopper of the whole fragrance, then that's when you're going to learn to really enjoy those pieces of it. But anyways, so it's but I love peppercorn, always have. Body Shop used to have, I think it was called pink peppercorn, back when they had those oils. God, they were good. I think they've stopped making them now. Probably got in the way of the unions and their whatever oils they could use. But they had a pink, I have several still left over. This pink peppercorn that I just adored. They also have a sandalwood that was chef's kiss. So anyway, so that's a fragrance that they highly recommend. I like their business practices. Always been a Michelle Pfeiffer fan, and I think she's doing a good job on these fragrances. They have a lot of other fragrances in here, but the one I'm highlighting today is that one. So the big news, people, is the Green Bee Tarot has arrived. Tell me I have it here. Where did I put it? Oh my God, I had it here and now it's not here. Oh, here it is. Wait. No, oh, it's right in front of me. God, I can't keep track of anything. See, old lady. She just wear the rose and tuberose and let it go because that's what I am. And cheers. Okay, anyways, double checking to make sure we're still recording, which we are. So, this came in the mail today from Make Playing Cards. As I said, I bought 3. Do I still have the original here? What did I do with that? Because it's amazing. Oh, I don't. I think I have it stashed away. But the original was like that thick, and this one is more like this. Because it doesn't have all the paper, the collage, the glue, the unmanageable cardstock, all of that has been reduced to... Oh, I was going to put these... Darn it. I was going to put these back in order, and I didn't. So, shoot. I really want to put them in order. Gosh darn it, I wish I'd done that. Well, can you live with me? No, you cannot. I'll show them. No, I'm really going to show them in order. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna have to do something I don't do very well, which is editing. So we're going to give this a shot. So I'll be back. I'm back. The magic of editing. We'll see. If it turns out bad, this part will be first, and then the first part will be last. Hopefully it'll be the other way around. Okay, and I did, while I had a moment, I went and grabbed the original. So you can actually see the difference in size. So, come on. So I'm not going to try to do this, but I mean, if you can see, so, look at the difference. Oh my God. So first of all, because this one was just chunky and unruly, and just because of the, the nature of collage where you're gluing it down, you can't really shuffle them because they're going to get hung up on everything. And so this arrived. Did I have? Oh, I took those all out. I should probably show those too. I could. Everything's falling down. Welcome to my world. So, I said, let's see. So we do have one extra queen of wands, and of course the proverbial happy moth. I'll try to keep the reflections down. Happy moth, and then the title card, Bee Tarot, and then just an extra card. And then the backs are like this. And the one thing I was worried about, I'll tell you, is that on this side, this kind of falls off the edge. And it was so bizarre because I plugged them all in, got it all done, and I was so excited that I was done. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, you're going to need to scan this one again to make sure it's centered. And I didn't do that because I was so excited that I was done. That I left it the way it was, and I was worried that it was going to be really cut off. But they actually barely cut. I mean, they do no adjustments. Once you send it in, you say it's good to go, and they are very clear. We won't adjust we'll print it the way you sent it to us. So they don't do any manipulation of the colors. So and I noticed this on a few of my images, a little washed out to begin with. They're a little washed out. So that's fine. That to me speaks to the nature of the handmaidenness of this particular thing. Now, the other thing that's really cool is that I ordered it poker size, so it fits in my hands perfectly, and linen. So the cardstock is, I mean, I don't know if it's linen textured or whatever, but it's the NPC normal linen. I don't know if I can get close enough for you to see the texture. Can we see it? I'm not seeing it. Maybe can we see it on a photograph? I don't think so. If you can, yay. But anyways, it's a very fine kind of linen-y feel to it. It shuffles like butter. And I just couldn't be more pleased. Like I said, I was sweating the backs a little bit, but in the end, I don't care about them. I just think they're great. It's cut beautifully. This is its size. So let's do a walkthrough. So these are the backs of the Green Bee Tarot. And for those of you who might not have seen the video where I introduced this, I went with Green Bee because in one I had a stamp that was a bee and I cut new ink, which is green, so yay. And then B is the first initial of my last name, and green kind of speaks to the newbiness of my abilities. So, and this was kind of a labor of, I don't know how I got started on it. I mean, it was influenced or inspired by Toadstool Tarot, who did his own tarot deck through, I believe, Make Playing Cards as well. And I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. And so I just put my mind to it, and one by one the images came out. I just basically constructed it from magazines that I had at home. Sorry, got some allergies going on here. Yeah, so that's how this thing got born. And now it is all, so I can shuffle it. That's what's so exciting. So backs. So I'll show these one by one, and we'll try to go fairly quickly. The Fool. I'm trying to, where am I going to get the least amount of? Probably just like that. So the Fool, the Magician. I did a lot of commentary the first time I walked through that. If you want, just go back and look for the one that's titled I Made a Tarot Deck. So I won't do a lot, but I'll probably do a little because I'm pretty proud of it. So the reason I love this is just this tub of magic that can be poured out of a spigot. You know, it is whatever you put into it creates the magic. So there you go. The Papesse. Where can I? Sorry about the glare. I love her. The Empress is probably my favorite card of all the cards. I just love her. The Emperor. The Hierophant. There's a bunch of books, a big bookcase behind him. It didn't show up very well on this, which is too bad, but that's okay. You still get the idea. The Lovers. I love these guys so much. Chariot. You know what? I'm going to pull down the blind. I think that's going to help a lot. Hold on one second. I don't know why I didn't think to do that sooner. Will that help? I think it will. I think it will help a lot. Okay, start in. Oh, yeah. Well, no. Hold on. 2 blinds to deal with. We'll pull them both down. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let's the Chariot. Oh, that's better. Maybe it's just the computer that's creating all of. That's it. Whatever. Okay. Chariot. Strength. So I want to go on the left side. The Hermit. And I love that. Up top it says, left to exist in peace. Then I added the little lamppost down there because, you know. The Wheel. Justice. And I did add the scales to his hands. They weren't there the first time. I thought it was important. The symbology of that was important to me. I love the gold goggles. Oh, they kill me. The Hanged One. Death in the Shadows. Temperance. The Devil. The eyes behind that mask are just, yeah. Tower. Again, this is not, doesn't come across on film that well, but it's just kind of a, it's kind of like a, I don't know, actually, I guess it's kind of like a, I don't want to call it a grave. Maybe it's an old fountain, an old structure of some kind, and then just, it's kind of falling apart, and then all the growth below it is just, it's kind of being taken over. The Star. The Moon. The Sun. Again, this is one of my favorite cards. I just love that image. Pardon me. Judgment. The World. Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. Pardon me. Allergies again. Ugh. Three of Wands. Oh, that's better. Four of Wands. I love her. She's got just the cutest smile, little smile on her face. Five of Wands. Six of Wands. I love that card too. Seven of Wands. That's really the fun part of making your own deck. I think I said this before, but I will say it again. Everybody should do this. It's a challenge. It's a good exercise in kind of testing your own skills. And I can guarantee you that I'll probably come back to this deck in a year and go, what was I thinking? But maybe not. I don't know. I'm just in love with it. I'm going to show that one again because I really like that. Seven of Wands. He's just, you know, he's a fighter. Eight of Wands. And I know there's only like three, but it's the trajectory. I thought about this again, thinking they should go up, but I thought that's kind of typical, so I made them going down. And again, this is another one of my favorite cards, Nine of Wands. And I think I said before, I went back and forth on the weapon, but you know what? They do show up, so I'm in cards. I'm not going to have a problem with it. Ten of Wands, the burden. Page of Wands. Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. I love her so much. King of Wands. And up top, it does say, and this was by accident, I didn't know this until I cut it out. It says, on fire soon. Ace of Cups. Two of Cups. Three of Cups. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. Another one of my faves. I really like the black and white. This one really stands out to me. So I'm inspired now. I'm probably going to do another deck, but I may focus on just doing black and white photographs. I think they're really striking. And then another, you can order these with instead of the white border, which I ordered these with, you can order them with a black border, and I think the photography with a black border would be pretty cool looking. Six of Cups. Seven of Cups. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. 10 of Cups. Sorry, I keep moving around here. Page of Cups. I just adore him. He's just so, I don't know. Knight of Cups. Again, one of my old favorite cards. How many times have I said that? A million times. Queen of Cups. And King of Cups. Swords. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Four of Swords. Five of Swords. And this is another one that I just love. Six of Swords. Off I go. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. And my Ten of Swords, which is a little off the beaten path, but I explained it in my previous video. Ten of Swords is, to me, often a card of celebration at the end. It doesn't necessarily mean stabbed bodies in blood. Page of Swords. Knight of Swords. Queen of Swords. King of Swords. And last but not least, the coins. Ace of Coins. Two of Coins. This is one of my favorite photos. Three of Coins. Four of Coins. I'm checking to make sure I am. Five of Coins. Six of Coins. Seven of Coins. Eight of Coins. Nine of Coins. 10 of Coins. I love kind of the foundation and the sturdiness. Mountains in the background. Page of Coins. Knight of Coins. Queen of Coins. And King of Coins. So that, my friends, is the Green Bee Tarot. And I'm really proud of it. So thank you for going through that flip through again. I adore this, and I encourage anybody who wants to do this. It's just such a cool thing to do, and then to actually get it in your hands. It's like, I made this. Well, I created it, made playing cards, printed it, and made it for me. But and then this is a great. I got this cover especially for my Green Bee Tarot. It's full of flowers, and I thought it needs a bee. There's no bee on this pattern, but it needs a bee, so now it has one. Prairie Moon something. I'll put a link down below. I love her deck. I love, of course, I'm a huge Peggy Bag fan, but I also adore these quite a bit as well. So that's that. And then the other thing I wanted to quickly show and tease something too, I'm going to tease a little bit, is I just received the Darkside Skelet Tarot. It's a new deck out by Birgh. I think that's how you pronounce it, Birgh. I was surprised, and I had to read, it was like I had to read the fine print back on the campaign, because I just somewhere didn't realize that this was a plastic deck. And it is a plastic deck, and I don't have a problem with that. I used to have a problem with plastic decks, because somehow I thought, there is magic involved. Doesn't it just run off the cards? Like they're Teflon or something? They can't absorb, they can't absorb the magic of the world. They can't absorb my essence, whatever. But, as most tarot tools will remind you frequently, it's just a deck of cards. It's okay. And I find, I will tell you, listen to this. Maybe I can put this down. Oh, I can. Okay, look, check this out. Little hands, regular tarot size deck. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how utterly satisfying that is. It has absolutely the slowest bridge on the planet. So, love that. So, I have become a fan of plastic decks, and I'm going to do a little video on it down the road. See, I don't know how people feel about it. I don't know if they feel the same way about plastic decks like they do counterfeit decks. Oh, I'll never, no, thank you, I'll never do that. But these are, yeah, I have a couple of decks like this. One of the ones that I got from Make Playing, some of the decks that you purchase on Make Playing cards you can get in a plastic version, and I love it because I could shuffle them. I could shuffle regular sized tarot decks with these small hands. I mean, my hand, I'm trying to see, it comes like that. I mean, I barely could bear when between, yeah, it just doesn't work very well. But I like these plastic decks. And they're also very inexpensive mass market versions on Amazon. But you have to be careful because some of them are freaking like slick as, there's nothing slipperier. You pull it out. I had one where I pulled it out of the box and it literally went everywhere. And every time I get the deck out of that box, it goes everywhere. So I now put a piece of tape on it to remind myself not to do that. Because it's like, all it does is infuriate me. So anyways, I got this new deck. I'm not going to do a walkthrough, but I'll do it. Now, it really shows up now because it's in the daylight with the reflection. But at night, or if you don't actually have a light shining upon it, it's not that easy to see. And I know that sounds like when I'm looking at it now, I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about working with it last night. I'm really kind of struggling to see the images. So I haven't decided. I mean, I love this deck because it actually just feels good in the hands. And it's just an interesting take, in my opinion, on the cards. And I like it a lot. Oh, I didn't show the backs. The backs are really cool, too. It's not holographic, which is kind of a nice change because there's so much of that going on right now. And I actually like those super busy borders. I think the borders change with each suit. I haven't had a chance to really dig into this deck, but I just thought I'd show it off because it is kind of new to me and it's very interesting. And as I said, the jury is still very much out on this deck. You know, it may be just that I can only read it during the day, that you can't read it at night. Or at least I could. So anyways, that's just a sneak peek at the Darkside Skeleton Tarot. It comes with, the plastic one was in the fancy box. But I put it into the little box because the little box is so much more efficient. I ordered this one and then I did order just a regular, just a paper, like a regular tarot deck. Which I really haven't looked at at any length. It's and so the paper one came in the little box with a little with a chunky white book, and the plastic one comes in a much bigger box, but comes with a much bigger guidebook. And they call it a workbook, Darkside Skeleton Tarot Workbook. And what I really like about it is that it has. Well, first of all, it has this. Oh, my God. If you're going to do I wish Llewellyn would glom onto this. I don't know if it's... I would think it would be more inexpensive than the one they're doing now, but I don't know. But I love the spiral. I love being able to just open it up like this. Anyway, so they do a little thing. So the first part is the meaning, symbolism, upright reading, reversed reading, author's personal connection with the card, and I just love this. I just love this. It kind of just tells you why. Like, for the Ace of Cups, it's his author's personal connection with this card. We have a lot of emotional firsts throughout our life, with many coming in rapid succession very clearly, very early in life, and in adolescence. I associate this card with each time I met someone who triggered a strong emotional reaction in me, for good or ill. I can easily recall the moment I met my wife at an astrology conference in Athens, Georgia. That very first moment of connection that would one day lead to our marriage. So this whole thing is full of stuff like that, and I can't wait to read it. It just sucks you in. And that, to me, makes for a good guidebook. So I've been when I've been reading with other cards, I've been using this guidebook, and I really am glad I have. So this is a long one. So that's it. I hope I can splice those two together so they come out in the right order. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. It's always a pleasure. And I hope you all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Star Flurry out.